Hey, so in this video I want to give you a really practical, very good technique for practicing. And a little background on this. So when I was in college, I was studying classical guitar, and my instructor told me about this technique at that point, and I didn't really heed his advice, and I really wish I had, because it is actually a really good technique to use, very effective, but he didn't really explain it. He didn't really emphasize it that much, and I didn't really think about it all that much. I tried it a couple times and thought, that's okay, but I really wish I had used it a lot more back then. So I'm just saying that so that you get the right impression. This really does help a lot with your playing, and so I want you to understand that right from the get-go. This is a really good thing that you should practice as often as you can. So it's very basic, it's very easy, but it really does work. And what it is you're going to basically train these two hands separate from each other. Okay, you're going to isolate the left hand, and then you're going to isolate the right hand, and then you're going to put those both back together. So what that's going to look like is, well, let me back up before I explain how to do this. The reason you want to separate these two hands from each other is that this hand is always doing something that's different from this hand. Unless maybe you're tapping, and then they're basically doing the same type of thing, but still, most of the time your left hand's doing fretting, your right hand is doing the picking and the strumming. Unless you're a left-handed guitarist, then you can just swap that around, but you get the idea. So how do you do this? So basically, I'm going to give you an example of, let's say you're learning a scale, or you're practicing a scale. Okay, so normally you'd play that like that, both hands. So what you're going to do is you're going to play through that scale maybe 3 to 5 times just using the left hand. Okay, so there's no picking going on. You're just playing it as you normally would play. So you don't want to change any motions or anything like that. You're just going to play it exactly the way you would play it, as if you were playing with both hands. So it would look like this. And of course, you're not going to get much sound, especially on an acoustic, but you just run through that. Several times, just the left hand. Then you're going to do the same thing with your picking hand. So now you're just going to hear all open notes, because you're not going to be fretting anything over in this hand. So, and you run through that 3 to 5 times. Then you just put it back together, and so on. So you should do this, rotate through this, several times. Maybe you do your left hand, do your right hand, put it together, and maybe do that 5 times, maybe 10 times, depending on how much time you've got. And just every time you put those two hands together, you want to observe what's going on. You want to watch, is it my right hand that's making mistakes? Is it my left hand that's making mistakes? Or are there mistakes in both hands? Or is it an issue with both hands kind of syncing up with each other and playing in unison? Because you might find that your left hand does just fine when you play with both hands together, but your right hand's all messed up. So that would mean that you want to change this a little bit. Maybe you want to spend more time just training the right hand by itself, and maybe a little bit less time training the left hand by itself. So you can alter that according to what you find. So again, this is a really effective technique. Use this as often as you can, as often as you need to. And if you get good results from it, I'd appreciate you letting me know. I'm Nicholas, and my website is olympiaguitarlessons.com.